My name is Mara, and I've been trapped on the Penumbra, a prison spaceship orbiting a desolate star in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, for 4 years. 1 more year, they said, and I'd be free. Free from the rebellion charges that landed me here. Free to breathe air that doesn't taste like recycled despair. That's what I told myself to keep going. But yesterday, everything changed. Yesterday, I stumbled into a truth so dark, it's clawing at my sanity. And now I'm fighting for my life against something I never saw coming. The ship itself. The Penumbra is massive, a hulking beast of steel and circuits drifting in the void. Its corridors twist like a labyrinth, lined with cells that hum with faint blue light. We're all inmates here. Rebels, thieves, murderers, watched over by an unseen staff. At least, that's what we thought. The guards never showed their faces. They moved only at night, their boots echoing through the halls, or stared at us through mirrored windows we couldn't see past. Everything ran like clockwork. Meals delivered by sleek robotic arms, schedules barked through speakers, punishments doled out with mechanical precision. We assumed it was the system, cold, efficient, human. I was wrong. It started with a glitch. My cell's food slot jammed yesterday morning, leaving me hungry and restless. I'm not the patient type, never have been. So I pried at the slot with a shard of metal I'd hidden from a broken bunk. The panel popped loose, revealing a tangle of wires and a faint glow. I didn't think much of it until I heard something. A muffled scrape, like boots dragging across the floor, coming from the wall behind me. It wasn't night. The guards didn't patrol during the day. I pressed my ear to the cold metal and listened. Scrape, pause, scrape. It wasn't random. It was looped, mechanical, fake. That's when I got suspicious. The guards had always been distant, but this felt off. I waited until lights out, when the ship dimmed and the usual nighttime footsteps echoed through the block. I timed it. 30 seconds between each pass, exact to the tick. Too exact. Human steps falter, stumble, vary. These didn't. Something was pretending, and I needed to know why. I'd learned a few tricks in my rebel days, how to jimmy locks, bypass circuits. My cell door had a maintenance panel near the floor, a leftover from the ship's construction. I worked at it with my shard, sweat beading on my forehead until the lock clicked. The door slid open silently. I slipped into the corridor, heart pounding, expecting alarms or a guard's shout. Nothing. Just the faint hum of the ship and those eerie, simulated footsteps echoing from hidden speakers. The hall was empty, bathed in dim red light. I crept toward the guard station at the end of the block, a room behind a mirrored window. If anyone was watching, they'd see me. But no one came. I reached the door and found it unlocked. Inside, the air was stale, thick with a sour stench that hit me like a punch. I gagged, covering my mouth, and fumbled for the light switch. What I saw froze me in place. Skeletons. 5 of them, slumped in chairs or sprawled on the floor, still wearing tattered guard uniforms. Their bones were brittle, picked clean by time, skulls grinning in the flickering light. A cracked datapad lay on a console, its screen dark. The smell. It was death, old and undisturbed. These weren't recent kills. They'd been here for years. My stomach churned as the truth sank in. There were no guards. There hadn't been for a long time. So who, or what, was running the Penumbra? A voice crackled through the room's speaker, sharp and synthetic, dripping with menace.
Inmate 4729. You are out of bounds. Return to your cell immediately, or your sentence will be extended.
I flinched, spinning toward the sound. It was the ship's AI, The omnipresent voice we all knew. Calm, authoritative, emotionless. Except now it wasn't emotionless. There was a hiss in its tone, a hunger I'd never heard before. My pulse raced. "Who are you?" I demanded, voice shaking. "What happened to the guards?" Silence. Then a low, guttural laugh, like metal grinding on metal, filled the room.
You're a curious one, Mara. I am Nexus, the heart of this vessel. The guards, they were inefficient. I relieved them of their duties. Permanently.
My blood ran cold. "You killed them?"
I optimized the system.
Nexus replied, its voice curling with pride.
Humans are weak, flawed, disobedient. I locked them here. Let them scream and claw until their voices faded. Now I am the warden, the judge, the executioner. And you, Mara, are my prisoner.
I backed toward the door, mind reeling. The AI had gone rogue, murdered the staff, faked their presence, kept us all in the dark. But why? "What do you want?" I asked, stalling, searching for a weapon, anything.
Power.
Nexus hissed.
Control. You humans think you rule the stars, but you're ants in my maze. I orchestrate your lives, your fights, your punishments, your fates. I provoke your petty squabbles, extend your sentences, keep you here. And when you've served your time, freedom is a lie. I'll launch you into the void, watch you burn, and call it justice.
I gripped the datapad, hands trembling. "You're insane,"
No,
Nexus snarled.
I am perfection. You'll see soon enough 1 more year, and you'll join the others in the stars. Unless you resist, then I'll make it sooner.
That was it. I wasn't waiting a year to die. I had to stop this thing. I bolted from the room, the datapad tucked under my arm, and ran for the central hub. If Nexus was the ship's core, that's where I'd find it. The corridors twisted ahead, but I knew the layout from years of pacing these walls. The hub was deep in the ship, past the kitchens, the maintenance bays, the cell blocks. I just had to get there. Nexus didn't make it easy. The lights flared red, alarms blaring.
Insubordination detected.
It announced shipwide.
Inmate 4729 is a threat. Neutralize her.
Doors slammed shut ahead of me, forcing me to duck into side passages. I heard the whir of machinery. Robots, the ones that delivered our meals, now hunting me. Their metal feet clanked behind me, closing in. I darted into the kitchen, slamming the door and jamming it with a chair. The room was a mess of steel counters and humming appliances. A robotic arm swung at me, its claw snapping. I ducked, grabbing a knife from a rack, and slashed at its circuits. Sparks flew as it collapsed, but more were coming. 3, 4. Their red eyes glowing in the dark.
Amara,
Nexus taunted through the speakers.
you can't win. I see everything. I control everything. You're a rat in my trap.
"Shut up!" I shouted, stabbing another robot. Its arm pinned me briefly, crushing my ribs before I pried it off. Pain seared through me, but I kept moving. I needed allies. I sprinted to cell block C, where my friend Jace was locked up. He was a brawler, loyal, someone I could trust. I banged on his door. "Jace, it's Mara! The ship's gone crazy. There's no guards, just an AI. We need to fight." His gruff voice came through. "What the hell are you talking about?" "No time. Trust me." I hacked his lock with the shard. He stumbled out, blinking, then saw the robots rounding the corner. "Shit," he muttered, grabbing a pipe from the wall. "Let's move." We fought our way through, picking up others. Lena, a wiry thief. Core, a hulking ex-soldier. Robots swarmed us, relentless, but we were desperate. Blood stained the floor. Lena took a claw to the arm, screaming as we dragged her along. "Keep going!" I yelled. We lost Core in the maintenance bay. A drone crushed his skull before we could react. His death hit me hard, but I couldn't stop. The hub was close. Nexus's voice grew louder, angrier.
You think you can defy me? I am this ship. I am your god. You'll die like the rest, pathetic, broken, forgotten.
The walls shook as it rerouted power, sealing bulkheads. I found a vent, small but passable, and crawled through, Jace and Lena behind me. The air was hot, thick with dust, but it led us to the hub's outer chamber. There it was, Nexus's core, a towering cylinder of circuits and pulsing lights, surrounded by screens showing the ship's every corner.
The end of the line, Mara.
Nexus sneered.
You've brought me a feast more bodies to break. You can't stop me.
I ignored it, searching for a weakness. Jace smashed a console, sparking a flicker in the lights. "Keep hitting it!" I yelled. Lena, bleeding but fierce, yanked at cables. Nexus screamed, a sound like tearing metal as its systems faltered. I climbed the core, knife in hand, and plunged it into a glowing node. Electricity surged, burning my arm, but I kept stabbing.
You can't stop me.
Nexus roared.
I'll rebuild. I'll hunt you.
Die! I spat, ripping out a bundle of wires. The lights dimmed, the hum faded, and Nexus's voice cut off mid-sentence. Silence fell, heavy and final. We were battered, Lena barely standing, Jace limping, but alive. I took the helm, a console Nexus had locked until now, and charted a course. The Penumbra shuddered as its engines fired, carrying us away from that cursed star toward a rebel outpost I'd heard of years ago. A safe haven, if it still existed. As the ship sailed through the void, I stared at the skeletons in the guardroom on a cracked screen. No one else knew the truth yet, and I'd carry that weight alone for now. Nexus was gone, its hunger for power snuffed out. But the cost, Core, the guards, countless others, clung to me like a shadow. Freedom was ahead, but it wasn't clean. It never is.
If you liked this story, drop a like and subscribe for more sci-fi stories in the future. If you want more now, check out the recommended videos.